Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome. So glad you could join me today. Oh man, what a day. Today is, look at that, August 25th, 2023. We don't need stinking chyrons, do we? No. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee and Nuance Show. We're at the socials at Coffee and Nuance on all the social media. Let's just see if it's actually working. God damn it. God damn it. There we go. Okay, we're live. Technology, huh? Woo! This is episode 100 of this podcast, where I've been writing little monologues and trying to come up with little jokes for every story. Today's a weird day. I slept really late. I don't have any jokes for the stories, but I do have a little monologue that I wrote, which I have not even practiced one time. So that means it's going to be quality, right? Yeah. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to it. Let's talk about one of my favorite subjects, fact-checking, because it is a Fact-Check Friday, you know? And it's become quite a buzzword lately. Oh, did you see fact check this? Oh, is that even true? Oh, you know, me, I love digging into the truth, or at least what passes for it these days. But here's the thing, folks. There's a little trick some of these biased journalists like to pull off. They put on their smug faces, Daniel Dale, and lean back in their ergonomic chairs and confidently declare, well, there's no evidence for that, so it must not be true. Oh, how logical, right? Wrong. Let's break it down, shall we? Just because there's no evidence for something doesn't automatically make it false. I mean, think about it. There was a time when there was no evidence that the Earth revolves around the sun. Did that mean it wasn't happening? Of course not. Our understanding of the world evolves as we gather more evidence and information. These journalists, bless their hearts, seem to forget that absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Just because we haven't found the smoking gun doesn't mean the entire crime didn't happen. Imagine if Sherlock Holmes, this guy, gave up after a day of searching saying, well, I haven't found any evidence of a crime, so I guess there was no crime to begin with. We'd have some pretty boring stories, that's for sure. But here's the kicker. There are plenty of things that are true without concrete evidence. Love, for example. Can you measure love in ounces or calculate its velocity? Of course not. But it's still undeniably real. Our personal experiences, our gut feelings, they count for something, don't they? So next time you hear someone smugly declare, no evidence, no truth, give them a reality check. Remind them that evidence isn't the only player in the game of truth. Critical thinking, intuition, and yes, even a little bit of skepticism all have their roles to play. And let's not forget history. Some of the most important events in human history didn't come with neatly labeled evidence. Sometimes you have to put the puzzle together without all the pieces. So folks, keep your fact-checking goggles on. But don't fall for that sneaky little trick. Absence of evidence is not a get-out-of-jail-free card for dismissing ideas and truths. And that's a fact. Even if I don't have the concrete evidence to prove it. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee and Nuance Show. The best damn censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Hey, thanks again for all the people. Yes, 100th podcast. Let's get 100 likes. How about 50 likes? Because I've never updated the graphic. That was always the goal, back when I got a lot of views. But, yeah, that is what it is. But we're talking about no evidence. And that's just not good enough. And there's this trick that they do so often. There will be a claim, and I would give you examples for all of these, but right now, all the examples that I can find revolve around a couple of topics that we can't really talk about. Such as evolving around, the cough, if you will, or votes, things like that, right? And you can make claims, and we heard this often. They would come in and say, well, there's not enough evidence to show that the outcome of the ball game would have changed had the referee made another decision, right? They'll say there's not enough evidence, so therefore it's false. There's not enough evidence that taking a certain vitamin may help with something, so it's false. You see how this works? But if you were to do the same thing, they would say, oh no, that's not how science works. That's not how elections work. That's not how any of this works. But yet that's the trick that they use. And then the fact checkers can come out, they can put a big red false across the story, and people say, oh, well, the fact checkers said it was, that wasn't true. The fact checkers said that was false. No. Not enough evidence doesn't mean something's true or false. It could be true. It could be false. But there's not enough evidence. So you don't know either. And that's when other things come into effect, right? And how do you think the reaction would be if you said that there's not enough evidence for something in other topics, right? I'm not even going to talk about the controversial topics, but you can imagine what they are. And if you just said, well, there's not enough evidence for that, you'd be dismissed as all kinds of negative things. I will give you one example. Now, I know that little tricks and little analogies, they're not persuasive, but they're good for explaining. They're good for explaining. So for the really dumb people watching, I don't know if there's any dumb people watching my show, but to make this clear, right here, I have a shot glass, okay? And, oh my goodness, what is, what's over there? Oh, now the shot glass is gone. Well, if you were to ask me, hey, Tom, what happened to the shot? Okay, the shot glass is dumb. That's that's the problem. I woke up too late today. I didn't get the show together very well. Let me try it a different way. If you were to come home, let's say you're a woman, you come home, your wife or your husband is there. You put out a plate of brownies, right? You go to the store, you come back, and now the brownies are gone, and there's just a plate with crumbs, and your husband is on the couch leaning back, patting his belly, and you ask him, you say, hey, honey, did you just eat the brownies while I was out running errands? And he were to turn to you and say, there's no evidence that I ate the brownies, so therefore, that's a false claim. Would you buy that BS? Would you buy that BS? That's true. There is not enough evidence to prove that the husband ate all the brownies. There's not evidence. It's just a lack of brownies and a husband on the couch patting his belly. You wouldn't buy that line of BS. So why do you buy that line of BS from the fact checkers? They do it all the time. All the time. And I think once you see this trick, you're going to be hip to it. And this could be life-changing because it really changes the way you view everything, and it changes the way you view arguments. So that is the main fact check idea I wanted to talk about today. How do you react when there's not enough evidence, though? How do you react? Well, you just say, well, there's not enough evidence. That's it. Just say, there's not enough evidence. It could be for anything, right? I say, I'm a billionaire, right? And you go, Tom, you're a billionaire. Why are you driving a 20-year-old car? Where's the evidence that you're a billionaire? I say, well, you don't have evidence. These are terrible analogies. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I normally work these things through a lot better. I just woke up really late. I was having a really hard time. Yesterday was a really tough day for me. So I apologize for that. But anyway, that's the idea. Just because there's not enough evidence, that just means there's not enough evidence. That's all. Quit falling for these tricks. And here's one thing to think about. If you see a fact checker and they use that trick, why would you believe them for anything else? It's not logical, and it's not persuasive, and they're taking you for a chump. So if you see Snopes do this, how many times would you need to see them do it before you go, you know what, I don't believe they're BS? I will say, what is a fair number of times? I will say, what's a fair number? Let's go for 5, right? If you go to New York Times fact checking and they do that 5 times, you can dismiss them from being fact checkers. And this is the easiest thing that you can check out for fact checking, because they do this all the time. These are lazy journalists. They're writing these lazy stories. So they come up with, someone made a claim, and they go, oh, not enough evidence, so therefore it's false. They do it all the time because they're lazy. So there you go. That's the big idea. That's the fact-checking idea for today on this 100th episode. We got a number of stories to get to today. And afterwards, I'm going to go through the... in the after show, I'll go through all your comments and talk about what's going on with the show. So thanks for sticking around for that. But first up, we got to talk about BRICS. And again, I just got to say, normally I write jokes for this kind of stuff, and I just didn't have time to write any jokes today. Let's see if I can fix that. Nope. What's going on with the, something's not right. Anyway. There we go. BRICS Expands. So, the BRICS Club of emerging economies, that's... Have we learned it yet? If you've been watching my channel, have you learned what BRICS is? It's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Anyway, they're going to expand. And they've invited Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia to join them. This move, announced at the summit in South Africa, aims to increase diversity and challenge Western-dominated global forums. While China sees it as a way to challenge the U.S., other members are cautious about diverse dynamics. Invited countries have ties with China and Russia, and they aim to reduce reliance on the U.S. dollar or seek non-Western partnerships. So, you know, even if you look at this little graphic here, look at all the red. Those are all the BRICS countries now. This is going to be starting the 1st of next year. Argentina, So we got someone in South America. You got in Africa, you got Egypt and Ethiopia, which big economies, right? Iran is joined in. United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. Oh my goodness. And so one of the things that they announced at this summit is that they are going to sell oil and all of their trade between all of the BRICS countries will not be done in US dollars. It doesn't mean that these countries are going to not use US dollars at all, right? But they're not going to use dollars between each other. And what that means is, as far as the US dollar being the global reserve currency, it's going to have a lot less power. See, so in the past, right, a lot of countries, they would use the dollar to buy and sell things, okay? And because that was the currency that everyone kind of accepted, this was the reserve currency. Everyone would just use it. And because of that, all these countries would have to buy lots of dollars from the US, thereby kind of propping up the dollar, right? There's now a desire, a need for US dollars all around the world just to settle debts, okay? Now, if they're not using the US dollar to settle their debts, now there's a lot less demand on the US dollar, a lot less demand on the US dollar. There's going to be less and less and less going forward. So what this means is the US dollar is not in demand as much as it was in the past. And that's going to mean that your dollar, if you're an American, and if you're watching the show, you probably are, because most people that watch this show are American. It's about 90% American audience, from what I've seen from the analytics. Your dollar is going to be worth less. Now, your dollar's been worth less with inflation, right? But it's also going to be worth less now because a whole lot less business is going to be done in US dollars. So your retirement, your properties, everything that you have, all your investments are going to be worth less because these other countries are not, they don't need the dollar anymore for these big $1 million transactions, you know, while they're buying and selling. So this is really big news. And that's why I keep talking about BRICS, because it's a really big deal. And I don't see it being covered in the media as much as it should, because it's so important. Also, right, we just had the debate. I didn't hear one single question about this, about the lowering of demand of the US dollar and what that's going to mean to the country. That's a big deal. And none of the Republican candidates were even asked about it. So it's just showing you the priorities of our media, and are they really giving you the stories that are going to make a difference? To me, it doesn't look like they are. And so next up, I got a really scary story. So amid the Maui fires, a striking pattern emerged. Some defied barricades and survived, while obedient people perished. The death toll hit 114, with potentially 1,100 more missing, intensifying scrutiny of emergency responses. Closure of Lahaina Bypass Road due to fallen power poles on the Pilani, good luck if I said that right, highway, trapped residents. While officials claim no forced detentions, reports suggest that discouragement from bypassing barriers. Okay, so in the midst of the chaos, tales of survival emerged. One family evaded barricades, escaping the flames. Another took an unconventional uphill route, dodging gridlock. Their stories underscore the life or death impact of timely decisions during crises, prompting reflections on effective emergency protocols and the balance between directives and individual choices. So what we're hearing, and these are terrible stories, just crushing stories. But the officials were saying, oh no, this road is closed. You need to go back. You need to turn your car around and go back. And then those cars were burnt to a crisp. They were caught in the wildfire. Whereas people that disobeyed what they were told, they're still alive. And there's a lesson in this that sometimes you have to make the decision for yourself about what to do and not just follow the rules, okay? And sometimes rules can be broken, right? Now, we can exaggerate this. Let's say it's late at night, you're walking down the street and you see some people that, some shady characters, and they look like they're up to no good and they're on the same side of the street as you, okay? Well, the smart thing to do would be maybe to cross the street. But if you're crossing the street, that's jaywalking. You can't just jaywalk across the street. Damn it, choose to break a rule and stay alive. You don't want to be dead right. Okay? Being right, following the directions, following the rules can sometimes, you don't want to be dead wrong. No, dead right. Oh, man, I tell you, my brain is just not connecting today. So, but that's the thing, is you just don't want to be dead right. You need to decide these things for yourself. And when there are directions from some authority figure, you need to weigh whether following them is good for your own life or not. So this is really crushing to hear that the people that followed the rules ended up dead, getting torched. It's, yeah. So I think that this can be a lesson. Maybe not now, maybe let some time pass. But this can be a lesson that we don't need to always follow the rules. We need to look out for ourselves. You need to be skeptical, which is kind of the theme of this channel. Be skeptical of what you're told. So, really crushing. We'll hear more about this story soon. Anyway, we got some other news. Here we go. Okay, this is a tough one for me. I'll explain why here in a second. WWE star Bray Wyatt, real name Wyndham Rotunda, passed away at 36. He was celebrated for his inventive personas in professional wrestling and had been on hiatus due to health concerns. Wyatt's career, marked by his charismatic characters like Bray Wyatt and The Fiend, showcased his storytelling prowess. He returned in 2022 with a captivating storyline. His untimely death is a loss mourned by fellow wrestlers and fans. So I got the news on this yesterday, like late yesterday afternoon, and this was really crushing to me. I had a really hard time. For those of you that don't know, I like wrestling. That's one of the things I'm into. In another lifetime, I would have loved to have been a pro wrestler, but when I was younger, all the wrestlers were really big. And now it's funny, I go to some wrestling shows and I'm bigger than than a lot of the wrestlers today. But this guy, whose character was Bray Wyatt, he was my favorite wrestler. I connected with him more than anyone else. And it's kind of one of the reasons that I got into wearing Hawaiian shirts. Now, this Hawaiian shirt that I'm wearing today, I don't think I've ever worn this on the show before. But I figured 100th episode, right? It's a special day. This was my grandfather's Hawaiian shirt, and it fits pretty well. Yeah, I really connected with not just the character of this wrestler, but I connected with the person who played the character. In a way, can't really talk about it much more. I'm just gonna bust up crying. I don't want to do that. But anyway, it is a reminder, two reminders. One, that life is really quick, and we gotta do what we want to do while we're still here. And the second reminder is this guy just went for it. He really pushed the envelope in storytelling, which is what professional wrestling is. It's storytelling on a grand scale. And he was able to do this, I think, better than anyone else. And he really cared about expressing himself, and he was able to do that. He was able to share this vision with the world. And in many ways, that's inspiring to me, because I feel like I have so much in me that I have not expressed to the world. And so I really, this hit me pretty tough. Pretty tough. Anyway, rest in peace, Wyndham. Anyway, let's get to some good news, I guess. AI made that. Seems accurate, doesn't it? Anyway, this is the 100th episode of this stupid podcast. Earlier this year, I saw that YouTube was having a podcast feature where you could upload videos and put them on a podcast playlist, and it might be under YouTube Music, so it might be a different way to be exposed to audiences. And so I thought I would give it a shot. That I would, Monday to Friday, make this little show, and hopefully it would catch on and spread and things like that. Well, didn't exactly work. So even after 100 episodes, here we are. I think we got 12 people watching on YouTube, 7 on Rumble. So didn't really take off the way I wanted to. But the good news is that I have learned a lot from doing this, right? Something doesn't necessarily have to be a success to be a success, right? It all depends on how you define it. What I have always thought is that I'm going to do this show until I get a better idea, and I'm going to do this show to work on my presentation, to work on how to do this, because honestly, it's not a natural thing to talk into a microphone with no audience, not say, etc. It's tough. It's a hard thing to do. And I feel like I've gotten better at it. I don't know. That's, I guess, up for you to decide. My dad doesn't think that I got any better. He's like, you're as good as you were when you started. And perhaps that's true too. I don't know. But I have had fun writing the monologues every day. Typically, I try to write some jokes about each story, or a little joke. It's weird delivering jokes to a camera with no audience. It's weird, because you're not getting any feedback, right? So the good news is, hey, I made it to 100. So cheers to that. And this is just tea, I guess, right? That was good. It's funny, years ago, I bought some champagne that I was going to have when I hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. And that was about the time I did a video on a certain political candidate who is at Lake Tahoe right now. like an ass. And then all of a sudden, my views just immediately went downhill. And immediately I could look at the analytics. I could see that my videos were not being seen by anyone that wasn't a subscriber. And that's when I found out that I could Google the titles of my videos and they would not appear in Google, right? So it's weird being censored, I guess, or hidden in the algorithm by companies that appear to be in cooperation with the government in the country that you live. It's kind of a weird thing, right? It's weird and it's tough. So I just wanted to announce today, after 100 episodes, that I'm going to keep doing this show. I can't keep doing it Monday to Friday. It's too much work for me, and it's not really going anywhere. It's not getting any bigger. So next week, I'm going to cut down to 3 days a week. I'm going to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Hopefully, that will give me a little bit more time that I can work on some other channels. I'm trying to work on some other things. And so I'm going to keep Monday. I'm going to keep Wednesday, Big Idea Wednesday, and I'm going to keep the Fact Check Friday. But I'm just going to take it down to 3 days a week. Hopefully the show will be a little bit better. And hopefully you don't forget about me on those days. I know that if your routine is you just, oh, it's this time, I'll go watch Tom. It's too much. And it would be one thing if the channel were growing, but you could actually look at the analytics, and I have done, you know, I don't know, 150 shows this year, something like that. And I have less people watching me now than at the beginning of the year. So sometimes we got to take a hint, right? Anyway, I will go through and check. So anyway, it is kind of good news, because the good news is I'm going to start some other projects, and I think you're going to like what I'm doing outside of this show. I have some new things that I'm going to try starting very soon, probably next week. I may have some different things, and I think you're going to want to see them. And if you want to make sure that you don't lose track, I haven't talked about this in forever. I've never actually used it, but I do have a mailing list in the description of the video. Make sure you're on the mailing list, and I can let you know where else I'm going to be. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you joining me on this 100th day, and I do appreciate and the fact that I that this wasn't the best show I wanted to do. But anyway, thanks y'all. Have a beautiful day. Stick around for the after show. I'll go through all of your comments on YouTube and on Rumble right after this. But I'll see you again on Monday. Peace. All right. Boom. 100th episode. Yeah. Let's see. Let's get the chat up here. Got lots of chat today, so thank you. Thanks for joining me here. Apothecary John coming in with the American flag. Yes. I need to make a better American flag emoji, but that's what I did. Episode 100. So, OX_00. Nice to see you. Apothecary John says, you know, I'm messing around with different headsets, and I'm pretty sure the audio here on Rumble is superior to what I get over on YouTube. That could be the case, and that's something that I encourage everyone to do, to check out me on different platforms. Because who knows, if you go to a different platform, maybe it's not just for me, but maybe if you're on a different platform, you discover someone else similar to me that you wouldn't have discovered on the previous platform. That's always a possibility. So yeah, for that. It's interesting, you know, yesterday I was not live on Rumble. I don't know why it didn't happen. And guess what happened, right? So I went through, I edited the video, I posted it to Rumble, and typically, right, I get a couple hundred views on Rumble when it's a live stream, you know, a live stream. Well, yesterday, I reposted my debate. Why do we have debates? 15 views. So on Rumble, it really only works if it's a live stream. Recorded videos don't seem to do well at all on Rumble. So that's tough. And I wasn't able to figure out what the issue was. So who knows? Who knows what the issue was? But anyway, it is what it is. OX_000, the media intentionally don't say it's not true. There is no evidence wording is a way to present a position and imply something is false. It is a red flag to me when I hear it. I'm glad it's a red flag for you because it should be a red flag. But here's the trick that the fact checkers do. They say there's no evidence, and then they just put up a graphic that just says false, like a big red check. It says false. Not enough evidence doesn't mean false, right? Think of the brownies example that I gave you. There's no evidence, right? There's just like, well, the brownie, the plate that had the brownies is empty with some crumbs, and the husband's lying on the couch patting his belly, but there's technically not evidence that he ate them, right? So just that's the example that I have. Actually, if you have a better example that I can use, let me know. That's one of the things I like about doing this show is I get feedback and I actually get better examples. I get feedback from people and, you know, often you all have a better way of explaining something than I do. And then I just take that and use it going forward. No sleep, coffee time. Yeah. This is just tea. Yeah, no, this was tea. Woo! Woo! It's some tea. Apothecary John says, well, I posted this video in a couple Discord servers for friends to check out. I hope they do. Well, I hope they do too. We'll see. And you don't have to share every day, but if there's one in particular that you think is good, well, go ahead and post that. That's cool. Let's see what's going on. Oh man, we got lots of stuff going on YouTube. Natasha says, what's with this format? I'm not sure what that means. She says, it changed when I submitted a comment. Okay. So happy 100th episode. Nice. 100 likes for #100. Oh man, I'd love 100 likes. Actually, on YouTube, I'd love 100 views. Dems, not enough evidence. Exactly. Or they move the goalposts. Yeah, that's another thing they do. You know, when I do these topics, I just try to pick one thing that I concentrate on. It just seems to be a better way to talk about it. We're having a Coffee Nuance watch party. Everybody say hi to my friend Rhonda. Hey, what's up, Rhonda? Nice to see you, Bastille. Thanks for checking in today. Hey, Rhonda, what's up? Fact Check Friday. Very cool. Let's see. It's not going to be the global reserve currency for much longer. I do think that it will be, but it has been trending down. And one of the important things just in life, right, is you look at the trends, okay? So if you look at the trend of, say, your waistline, and it keeps getting bigger, well, that's a trend you don't want. You want to trend it back to the ideal size. Trend lines are really important. So if your trend line on your debt is going down, that's good. If your trend line on your personal debt is going up, Not good. It doesn't matter specifically month to month, day to day, exactly how things are going. Looking at the overall trend is a good thing to do. Prosecutions are a must for Maui. I don't think that we can handle the truth about Maui right now. I think that they're going to have to slow walk this, because otherwise things could get really crazy. But hey, Tom, Biden almost lost his cat and his 67 Corvette. Yeah, that was so bad. Again, like I said, Joe Biden's response to the Maui fires, you could just clip that and make that a campaign ad. There's no way. I don't know. I don't know. I'll keep that one to myself. Too much incompetence for it not to be intentional. Well, the thing is, not enough evidence doesn't mean anything either way, right? So it's really important that just because you think something, don't just go to the side that you believe based, not enough evidence, therefore it's false. Not enough evidence, therefore it's true. No, neither of those work. Neither of those work. I want you to stay skeptical and be open to new things, but be skeptical about them. Guess I'll have to change my alarm clock, remove Tuesday and Thursday. Oh, Natasha, don't say that. Don't say that. That's oh man. Natasha says, "Oh, your grandfather's Hawaiian shirt. That's sweet." Yeah, this is. I've had this for I don't know, 30 years, something like that. I cherish this shirt. I love this shirt so much. I would love to. It's such a great design. Like, just it fits so well on the arms, down the side. It doesn't look boxy. It actually looks fitted. I actually like these big collars. I think, let's bring back these big collars. Like, I would love to just deconstruct this and put out a line of Hawaiian shirts just based on this design. Because whoever did this design, the company's no longer in business, right? Anyway, that's all I have. Anyway, that's all I have for y'all today. Thanks for joining me on this 100th episode. It really means a lot to me. It really does. And I'll be back on Monday, and I can't wait to tell you about the new projects that I'm working on as well. And I really think it's going to be a great addition to what I'm already doing. So I really look forward to sharing that with y'all. But anyway, y'all have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Peace.